Hi, it's Kelly here from spiritualawakeningsigns.com, and today we have a fantastic masterclass for you: how to get through a dark night of the soul, replenish your spirit and illuminate your ascension path. This is vital information if you're going through spiritual awakening, and especially if you're currently going through a dark night of the soul experience right now, if you've been through one in the past, or if it's something that could be up ahead for you, because if you haven't been through it yet, it is a milestone on the awakening pathway and it could come up for you. So we're going to share everything that you need to know. We're going to get you completely ready so that everything's all ready, you're prepared and you're supported through this process. And we're going to be covering some recovery as well. Now in this video we're going to cover, first of all, what is a dark night of the soul, what causes this special spiritual initiation, because it really is a transformation. We're going to cover 7 dark night of the soul symptoms so that you know for sure if it's happening to you. We're going to cover the secret key to breaking free from a dark night of the soul, which can be very challenging, but we've got it all covered for you. And of course we've got our special system of 4 steps to get you through it, to replenish your soul and illuminate your ascension path. This really is vital information if you're going through spiritual awakening, and I know that we'll be able to help you at whatever stage you're at, whether it's happening right now, it's happened in the past, or it may be up ahead in the future. We've got you covered. So the first thing I want to cover as we move into this masterclass is that although it seems negative, a dark night of the soul really is the spiritual initiation and journey of transformation that you've been waiting for, but it can be so overwhelming and the experience can be so intense that at times it leaves us so confused and so lost that we just don't know how to get through it. It's not like when things have happened in the past, things have happened before and you can think logically about it and you kind of work out a way to move through it. A dark night of the soul is so confusing that you just have no idea how to get unstuck. We can't even come up with a solution. It's so difficult. So what we really need to do in that situation, to be able to move through it and to be able to recover, of course, is to address it on the same level that it exists. And that is the energetic level, it's the soul level, which means we need to work with the energy. That's the only way to really move through it and to heal your energetic system. So we would use energy healing. That can clear the confusion, it can strengthen your soul. You need a little bit extra strength to get through it, and it'll help you align with the light once more, or of course align with the light possibly for the first time ever. You may never really have felt truly aligned with the divine or with source. So it's a huge milestone in awakening, and we absolutely are here to help you through it. I know how difficult it can be, and we've helped lots and lots of people already, and we'd really love to help you too. So let's get into a dark night of the soul. So let's talk about what it is first. It is a mystical transformational experience, and it's when you are plunged into this existential crisis, and it brings feelings of despair, overwhelm, disconnection particularly, and hopelessness. It's really, really tough. It's often the best opportunity that we have during spiritual awakening to dissolve the ego. So it helps us to move past ego and align with who we really are, our true authentic selves. When you take everything else out of the way, it leaves who we really are. The challenge with this though is that while it is a spiritual initiation and it's designed to more fully align you with who you really are and who your authentic self is, your higher authentic self is, it can feel like the exact polar opposite. It doesn't always feel like a spiritual thing. It feels like your life's collapsing and falling apart. During a dark night of the soul, you might actually feel so depressed and so full of despair that you lose all sense of faith, you lose all sense of spirituality, and that happened to me too. It's incredible the how often this happens through dark night of the soul. It seems to be a stepping stone to move through the dark night of the soul. Now for me, instead of feeling like that spiritual initiation had finally arrived, because of course you wait for, to move into some higher level of being, I had never felt so completely and entirely cut off from source. And it was so gut-wrenchingly painful, and that's, really the true feeling, that it uncharacteristically completely shattered my unwavering, certainly throughout my life, it had been unwavering faith in spirituality. Despite the fact that I'd been performing energy healing for years, I'd been working with my guides for years, I was in constant communication, usually, I just suddenly felt such an absence of presence spiritually that I felt completely and utterly alone in that dark night of the soul experience, and I was devastated. You know, I really felt like my guides had abandoned me at the time that I needed them the most. And that's quite often the theme that seems to show up around dark night of the soul. So if it's happening to you, don't worry, you'll be able to make your way through it. If you can relate, you might find it comforting to know that a lot of really wonderful people who we consider enlightened went through a similar experience. For example, Mother Teresa spent years and years, it's documented, feeling totally and utterly abandoned by God and Source before she truly aligned with her purpose. So don't worry, it definitely doesn't have to take years, but it just gives you an example of some other people who have aligned spiritually with what they align with, what feels right to them. And she was connecting to Source, but for a long time she really felt completely and utterly cut off. She just felt like there was nothing there and felt completely abandoned. So it does happen. So don't worry if it's happening, it will pass. And it was only for me after spiritually and energetically recovering that I was able to review that entire dark night of the soul experience with a much clearer perspective. It's really, once you're on the other side of it, you can look back and you really see things a lot more clearly. It's just doesn't happen when you're in the moment. It's a rite of passage, dark night of the soul, and it is a strong indicator of great spiritual awakening. You know, it's really a big sign of growth. But please know that no matter how difficult it might seem, and I know how difficult it can seem, it will pass. No matter how challenging it is, no matter how bad things have gotten, it makes no difference in the recovery process ultimately. It's not like it's going to take you much longer than it'll take other people. It's just, it'll pass and you'll move on. You'll become a more whole person as a result of this ultimately. I know it doesn't feel like it, and you might even be questioning whether anything exists up there at all right now. But please don't worry, the cloud will lift and the light will return. And with it, your true authentic self, your true authentic unburdened self will be free to really shine that lovely energy once more. And that's when you're able to channel it really easily and effortlessly. It just moves through you because you're so clear from clearing out all of that darkness of dark night of the soul. It really makes a huge difference to your energy. So just know that you'll be able to do that. You'll be channeling divine light effortlessly, and you'll be living in your purpose too. So there's huge benefits to moving through it. However, in order to get through the process and emerge as that more spiritually aligned you, it is important to know how. I know how much that you need that right now, and in this masterclass we're going to share everything that you need to know, so please don't worry, everything really will be okay. Now, sharing the information that I am bringing and the guidance that I'm bringing in this masterclass is really important to me, because I don't want you to remain trapped in that painful state for 1 second longer than you need to. It can really be detrimental to how you feel and your perspective on life. You know, there are no medals for suffering in spiritual awakening. There's no medals for suffering longer than anyone else, or you know, it's just not necessary on the spiritual awakening pathway. It's about getting where you want to be and aligning with yourself. So you need to make a choice, and it can be a mental choice. Things might not shift just yet, but in your mind you need to make the choice that you're putting out the intention that you're going to choose a different path. You need to choose to set down all the old energies of pain, of struggle, of difficulty, even if you don't know how to do that yet. Don't worry, we'll cover all these things. So that you can move into higher vibrational living. And you need to support your soul with energy healing, which is the most important thing, to begin your ascent from the old and the ashes of the old into the wonder of the new, this new fresh energy that you can move into and align with, and know that that is possible for you. We're going to cover all that today, so don't worry. But now let's talk about the next part, which is signs and symptoms that a dark night of the soul is happening to you. Now, you might listen to some of these and recognise that it's happened to you in the past, and that's okay too. This will just give you an idea of what you've gone through. It's very important to support your energies as you move through this. If you don't support your energies as you move through a dark night of the soul, it is guaranteed to make the transition a lot more of a really distressing struggle. And of course, it'll take longer to break free of it too. Sometimes when you're in the eye of the storm of a dark night of the soul, you can be so overwhelmed by the intensity of that process that you're just not quite sure what is happening to you. It just feels like life is collapsing and nothing makes any sense. But to make it easy to know for sure, we're going to cover the most common signs and symptoms, and even just one of these signs or symptoms could indicate that it has happened to you or that it is happening to you. So just take a little listen and see if any of these resonate with your own present or past experience. So 7 dark night of the soul symptoms. The first one would be that you feel completely lost and you've got no idea how to get through it. This is just an experience that has just knocked you off your feet and you just don't know how to put things back together. Nothing makes sense anymore. A lot of the beliefs you had about yourself, about the world and about others are just seeming to crumble. So it's really confusing. Things aren't what they used to be. So for example, maybe your family dynamic has changed, maybe people that you always relied upon are suddenly gone, and things that used to comfort you just don't work anymore. The structure of your life has collapsed. It's really not what it once was. You could also experience a deep sense of hopelessness and meaningless. So feeling like life is hopeless, feeling like things mean nothing, things that used to give your life a sense of meaning just don't seem important anymore. Another one is that you desperately want to break free of mindless social conventions, obligations, and the pressure of other people's expectations. So it could be as simple as you just can't do the routine of, hi, how are you? Fine, how are you? What have you been up to? It's like you just can't do that anymore. It feels too robotic and inauthentic, and you're waking up to the fact that that's just not how things are supposed to be. You feel completely disconnected from source. That's the biggest sign. And maybe you're doubting that the divine exists at all. And you might have been a spiritual person your whole life, or you may never have had that, but it's just particularly in that moment, it just feels like nothing exists to you. You can't access it. And lastly, you'll experience probably a large-scale depression. So it's different from standard normal depression because you feel sadness or despair for humanity and for the world as a whole. It's large-scale depression. So do you resonate with any of those? Can you think of one or more of those that really apply to you? If so, you've probably gone through or are going through a dark night of the soul experience. So the next thing is we need to talk about how to get through it, because it's not easy. It really is the spiritual initiation that you've been waiting for. It's the transformation that you've been waiting for. It means that you're shedding the outdated and old limiting beliefs that you've picked up throughout your entire life, all the things that have been holding you back. It means that you're asking the questions that are required for a true awakening from illusion. And it means that you're ready to let go of every false crutch, every negative energy that no longer serves or supports you in really becoming the enlightened being that you truly are. But it's also one of the greatest challenges you will ever face in awakening. So here are the 4 tried and tested steps to get you through. Step number 1 would be to ground your energies. If this is happening to you, that's the first most important thing you must do. Ground your energies. If you're currently going through dark night of the soul, the number 1 most important thing that you can do is to ground your energies. Because a dark night of the soul shatters the ego. So if you think of that as an energetic term, what that would do to your energy, it shatters the ego. And when it does that, it fragments the soul's energy. So it leaves it quite scattered. You're not together. That's why you can't really put things all together and feel centered. You're completely scattered, and it creates a lot of feelings of things like insecurity, weakness, and instability. It really throws you off balance. So grounding your energies is the first thing that you can do to really feel more secure, to feel more centered, and to start feeling strong again. Because when your energies are so scattered like that, you can't access your strength. So it's very, very important. Now, you can do this by walking in nature, by using tea tree oil, it's also very grounding, or by using energy healing. And energy healing is the thing that we would encourage you to use. It's really the fastest and most effective solution because it can reprogram your energies. It's not just a one-time fix that'll last for a day. You're reprogramming your energies for this newly awakened state, which means that the ground is more effective and it'll also be long-lasting. It's kind of like you're programming your energies to know how to keep you grounded long term, so that you can keep staying strong, centered, and feeling secure within. Step 2, once you've done that, is to take excellent care of the 3D body. That's very important. Now, the overwhelming intensity of a dark night of the soul can quite often lead to neglect of the 3D physical body. But if we take really good, proper care of our 3D vehicle at this particular time, we can begin the healing process. Now, if you don't, and I understand why, because it's just so overwhelming, you just can't get it together. If you don't, you're going to find that it's a lot worse for you. It's harder to put yourself back together and it's harder to recover. But what you really want to do is focus on supporting that healing process. So things like eating heavier meals than usual that are packed with good fats, meat if possible, and root vegetables in particular, they'll all assist in supporting the physical body to take care of your health and also to really ground the energies even further. That's what we need to do over and over again, is ground those energies. And also, so will exercise. Any sort of movement will shift energy, and that will help to take care of your health and also to shift the energy. But above all, rest where you can and give the physical body what it needs to support it in recovering. That's the most important thing. You must look after yourself. Step number 3 is use energy healing to create shifts and to move through energetic blocks. So a dark night of the soul will naturally release lots and lots of negative energy from the soul. All the negative energy that's stored in the energy body, which is quite often why it brings such intense emotions with it. These are releasing from the system, and quite often they bring tears, they bring anxiety, they bring depression and sadness, and we don't really know what's going on. It's being released from the system, so it's ultimately a good sign. It does mean that we are starting to really clear it, which is a good thing. However, energy healing can really assist in clearing any of those blocks and help you to move through the energy much more quickly, and it can reduce the intensity of the accompanying emotions too. So it really does make it a lot easier in your system to move through. It doesn't require just as much energy. It will replenish and rebuild your energy system to bring stability, centeredness and clarity to the soul, which is very important too. And then of course we've got step 4. Now step 4 isn't as tangible a step, but it really is very, very important. So I know that during this really challenging process that your faith will absolutely be tested, and at times it's going to feel like there is no higher spiritual force up there at all, that there is nothing guiding you at all. But still, please, please, please look for the signs. The universe and your guides are always communicating with you. They are always guiding you. But when we're so overwhelmed and we're preoccupied with the intensity of this process, sometimes we miss the signs. Sometimes the answers that we so desperately want and need are right in front of us, but we just can't see them because we're so overwhelmed by the process. So don't be afraid to ask for a sign. Don't be afraid to call out to your guides. They will intervene if you ask, but you must look out for the signs and be aware that they are communicating with you. Because if you close it all down, you just won't see a thing. So that's really important. But how do we put these 4 steps together? That's the question. Well, it's simple, it's quick and it's easy. We use energy healing to ground your energies, to centre the soul and to really align with the light once more. It's about bringing these 4 steps together, and we can do all of that for you. Okay, so don't worry, you don't need to take all these crazy steps if you don't want to. You can just take your time with them, and we will program the energies to do this for you, and you can use it as often as you need. Now, before we get into more information, what I want to do is I want to recap what we've learned so far today. So first of all, a dark night of the soul is the spiritual initiation and the journey of transformation that you've been waiting for. But it's very, very difficult, and it really requires energy healing so that we're addressing the same level that the problem is happening on, which is the soul level, the energetic level, to support your energies and help you move forward. So we talked about 7 dark night of the soul symptoms. You feel completely lost and you've got no idea how to get through it. Nothing makes sense anymore. Things aren't what they used to be. A deep sense of hopelessness and meaninglessness. You desperately want to break free of mindless social conventions. You feel completely disconnected from source, or are doubting there's any divine up there at all. And large-scale depressions. Remember, feeling sadness or despair for humanity or the world as a whole. Now, if you want to get through it, you need to follow the steps, which is to ground your energies, to take excellent care of the 3D physical body, to use energy healing to create those shifts and move through the energetic blocks, and of course, like I said, to look for the signs, ask for a sign and look out for the signs, be aware that they are there. Now, the good news is you don't need to go to energy healers, you don't need to train, you don't need expensive repeated sessions. If you're ready to get started on recovering from a dark night of the soul, or of course to prepare your soul for that in the future, you can check out our brand new energy healing meditation. It's the Dark Night of the Soul Illumination, and it is specifically created to comfort your spirit, to replenish your soul, and to help you find purpose and meaning in life. You can get started in about 10 minutes time, okay? So I know that you're not going to find a healing product like this anywhere else. Our meditations are a really special bridge between a guided, relaxing meditation and energy healing and activations. We just bridge them together to give you this wonderful, specifically tailored energy healing. Now, I work with a collection of high vibrational spirit guides who are dedicated to helping us on the awakening pathway, and they will specifically tailor this energy to you. Anytime you use it and watch it, they'll begin working with your energy. So it's not like a one-size-fits-all meditation. It's really working specifically with you and your energetic shifts that you need. And of course, you can use it again and again throughout your awakening process whenever things get a little bit rough, and you can use it from the comfort of your own home and as often as you like. Now, the meditation is going to help you to recover from spiritual crisis, to reconnect your union with the divine, to release despair, hopelessness, and that sense of meaninglessness, to support your spiritual transformation and growth, to boost your inner resolve, that inner strength that you need to get through it, and to reignite trust and faith. I think that you'll really like it. It's very, very powerful, and it'll definitely help you to make big shifts. You'll get through this and everything will be okay. If it sounds like a fit for you, take a little look below.